Rolling suicide.
Hey everybody, it's Jonathan from Breeder Circle, and here we are again with our Morph Spotlight. This week we're going to do the Shatter Ball Python. One of the reasons I picked this one is because I think a lot of people are still a little confused and they're not clear on what the shatter gene does and basically how to find out if your snake has the shatter gene in it. This snake is very diverse. You can have very high quality shatters that come out and some that are very low quality, and they have one marker in particular that will tell you what they are. So I'm going to show that in the video today. We're not 100% sure on a super form. I know the Barkers were working something with it. I wasn't sure if that's something that they proved that there was a super form or not. So right now we know it's either co-dom or dominant. And then with the combinations, they can start to get a little bit harder because there's some low expressions and some really high expressions. We can make some amazing stuff, almost acting as, you know, a little bit of, sometimes it could act like Orange Dream mixed with Calico and Spider. They have orange that come out on them. So what we're going to do right now is I'm going to just take you through some of the ones that we hatched out this year from a high grade, low grade, the Spider, Pastel, and Bumblebee versions. So let's go ahead and check out the Shatter Gene Python. Okay, so here goes one. We've had a few that were a little bit higher expression than this one right here, but this would be considered a middle to high expression. So what you see is basically it looks like splat marks in black. So it's almost like some people could almost mistake it for a paradox, but this is an actual gene and it's co-dominant or dominant. If you start looking through there, what it does, it really tweaks the pattern big time, makes it dark, and just really cool markings all around. So this is basically a medium to high grade Shatter Ball Python. So the one that people are always wondering, that I get a lot of questions of, you know, we've sold a few that were higher expression. They always wanted to know, you know, like, how do I tell a shatter from a normal if they are low expression? So at first glance, me that I've been working with this gene for a few years now, so I could see it a little bit easier. So this one has a bit of a different pattern, coloration, so already this tells me what it is. But for those that want to find out a little bit more, and then the key mark that we look for is the goatee. Okay, so that goatee right there is your marker. So for the normals, you'll see this pop up in some of the pastels, even Spiders, but the thing is, with the Shatter Gene and combos, sometimes it doesn't pop up. Another thing that I've been seeing, this happened with the Super Pastel version that we had also, was the side. If you come over here and look at this for a second. So if you look at the head and see the pattern riding up right over here, you'll see this happen in some of the pastel and super pastel versions, so they'll have that there too. So those are the two markers that I look for. Mainly the goatee is what you look for. So in the normal versions, you can have one that looks absolutely normal from, you know, the standards of what we see in the reptile community, but that chin spot tells you right away. So our original male, you know, quick story for everyone too, I originally purchased a male. It was done through a trade. This was about like 4 or 5 years ago, and it was like a it was a pretty wide, and I spent a lot of money on the trade that I gave the individual, and I ended up breeding it to like 4 or 5 girls, and it was actually a fake one. So what happened, the individual, I guess he found either he got sold or he had a fake one, and he gave it to me, and I ended up breeding it to 5 girls, getting absolutely no shatters. So the year after that, I purchased from Amir Soleimani a super low grade one, which I was actually very scared about because all I had is the chin spot. But it had the chin spot. The other one, it looked like it had a little bit of freckles, but I wasn't too sure. I didn't get it from a reliable source, which was my mistake. The guy actually disappeared on me after that. After I contacted him to let him know that nothing proved out, he just literally stopped answering my phone calls, you know, so that's just one thing that happens. So once I got it, that male that only had the chin spot, absolutely no pattern, made some really, really nice shatters. So let's go ahead and take a look at a spider one that we made that was actually pretty fascinating. When it was born, it had so much orange. So check out the pattern on its head. So very wicked pattern. When it came out, it was very orange. So if you look in the sides, You know, like basically it reduced the size a little bit more, brought out the orange, lightened up the color. And this is something that I would expect to happen if some of you guys have seen the Shatter Bumblebee that basically got me into the gene, would be the one that Ralph Davis made. And that happens as you saw the high expression shatter here and then the low expression. It kind of is like a game of chance, but at the same time you can make something really wicked if you hit on a higher expression combination of these. So this one was really crazy looking, and it's basically keeping some of the orange, and then that pattern is just really cool looking. So here would be a lower expression pastel version. So this is another thing that people are going to wonder and ask, but if you see the same thing is happening on the sides of the head right there, and then if I'm not mistaken, I don't think this one has the, yeah, see, this one does not have the goatee. Okay, so like there's different things you have to look for once you start hitting on the combos. On the originals, every single one has the goatee marking. So the other thing that I'm looking for is the differentiation between the other pastels, you know, what the mom looked like, and you can just basically see the pattern and the blushings and basically some of the honeycombs that are coming up the side, almost like if it was a pastel yellow belly. And here goes the super pastel version. Also, when it was born, see what we're looking for at the same time. See the neck and the head pattern that goes up to the side, to the top of its head? That is the thing that we're looking for. And again, this does not look like a regular super pastel. It was very white. Actually, the head was extremely white when it was born, so it was a little bit further up the head. And again, this one does have a little bit though. So you see a little bit of the goatee marking on this one. So they don't all have it once you start hitting the combos. Okay? And what I was trying to go for were the Bumblebee Shatters. So instead of getting the version that came out looking like the one that we've seen, the Shatter Bumblebee by the King, what's his name? From Ralph Davis. There we go. From Ralph Davis, we got something a little bit different that basically, to me, in my opinion, if I had to compare it to another gene, it would be basically a Bumblebee Orange Dream. So they came out very bright looking, you know, reduced the pattern, coloration throughout, you know, really bright color. You can even see the shatter markings right here. So you can see a little bit of the shatter. Some of them won't have it, but what it does is it brightens it up for some odd reason. It definitely brightens it up. Okay, here goes another version right here. So if you look through the sides, this one is not going to be as dirty. So as you saw this one right here, where you can see like some of the dirty markings where you would think to see the shatter, this one is a little bit different. So the bright color is still there, has the orange dream appeal, and then just a little bit of a reduced pattern. So, you know, like if you hit on a exceptional version, I'm guessing it's going to be very tweaked out and a little crazy. We also hit on another combination that ended up dying on us. That was really crazy. I'm not going to talk about that one just at the moment, but that combination, we're trying to replicate it again this year, but it was an extreme version with the shatter. So we think that the shatter gene is going to do some really cool stuff for this year. This is the Shatter Ball Python, and this is a Morph Spotlight. So thank you guys. Make sure you follow us on our Facebook at The Breeder Circle, and then on YouTube, Breeder Circle altogether, and we'll see you guys on the next show.
He wanted to. Well, I don't think you trust in my self-righteous suicide.